Thank you very much, and I understand that she already made half my speech.
どうもありがとうございます。紹介に預かりましたカフマンです。
So, Enno Schmidt started with a survey. He asked you about the unconditional basic income, and it was a hard question.
エノが今、無条件ベーシックインカムについて、お伝えしました。これは本当に、ものすごく重要なテーマです。
So my question to you first is, who have ever participated in a referendum? One hand up.
この中で、住民投票に参加したことがある方、手を挙げてください。住民投票です。県民投票、市民投票。
Okay, who have ever signed a petition or an initiative? Two hands up. 住民発議に参加したことがある方、自分たちがその、テーマを、その住民投票のテーマを自分たちで、発議したことがある人、はい、イタリアの方ですね。はい。 I cannot believe it. But who have ever participated in an election? Please stand up.
選挙に、参加したことがある方は、ご起立ください。投票に参加した。
Election, yes, voting.
投票に参加したことがある方は、ご起立ください。
Okay. Thank you very much. Our goal is that everybody can stand up, even for the two first questions. Our goal, the work of me and my organization, is that in the future everybody can stand up when you get the question about who have ever participated in a referendum and who have ever signed an initiative. My foundation, the Swiss Democracy Foundation, works with supporting and educating about modern direct democracy. These are different projects we are doing: Democracy International, the Global Forum, People to Power, Initiative Referendum Institute, Navigator. These are all projects we are supporting. So if you come to us with 10 million yen and propose a project and we think it's a good project, we will double it to 20 million and we will do it together. If you come to us with 10 million yen and we think it's a good project, we will double it with 10 million and we do the project together. We have, together with the Swiss Broadcasting Company, we have a platform where we publish articles about direct democracy, also in Japanese. Just now, I'm together with my wife on a 200-day trip to the most interesting places for democracy in the world. So we see we are now in Okinawa, one of the most interesting places. Because we are very interested in how you are working here with your problems around democracy. We are very interested in the problems you have, and we are very interested in supporting you. Modern direct democracy is the right to make your voice heard every day. And as already Enno has said it, it's the base in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, where we have Article 21. Everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country, directly or through freely chosen representatives. Every year we do a big global meeting of people who are working for this kind of right to be implemented. This year we will be in Rome, Italy, in September, where we will focus on how a city can become a place for more democracy. And next year, this has been decided last week, it will be Taichung, Taiwan. In October 2019, you are all welcome to come to Taichung to work together with us. One important reason is that we go to Taiwan is that Taiwan introduced the legislation for direct democracy on the national, regional and local level on January 5th this year. The Taiwan direct democracy law is a very good law because it gives the people the right to make their own proposals and giving the people the right to vote on these proposals. As a first step, when you make a proposal in Taiwan, you need just 2,000 signatures. Then you get the support from the government to formulate your proposal in a way that it is clear and easy to make a vote, a referendum about it. And the government even gives you extra time if certain signatures you have gathered are not valid. If they are deemed not to be valid, you can correct it and you can gather more signatures. This is also true for the second step, when you have to qualify your initiative with 280,000 signatures. It's about 3% of the Taiwan people. You have 6 months to gather these signatures, and if you not manage to gather all of them, you get 2 extra months. So this is very unusual for this part of the world, that the government helps its people to make their voice heard. And when you have a vote, a popular vote, you need 25% of the people needs to support your proposal in order to make it valid. So again, it's a hurdle, but it's not a hurdle which is impossible to come over. So only after a few weeks, the Taiwanese people have started to make initiatives about working laws, about nuclear energy, about same-sex marriage, and about the food import from Japan, in fact. So just 1 hour from here, 1 hour in the air, and you are in a country with one of the best regulations for direct democracy. And that's, of course, I tell you that because it's so easy to say Switzerland is far away, it's easy for them to have a good law. Switzerland is far away, then it's easy for you to say it's so far away, it's not so important for us. It's really possible also in this part of the world to introduce direct democracy. But of course, I also tell you more about Switzerland, my home country, because it's a country which have had direct democracy for a much longer time. This weekend, this last Sunday, there was a vote about my employer, about the public radio and TV. An initiative from conservative people wanted to abolish the public broadcasting. They gathered 100,000 signatures and they put this proposal to a national vote. We got a big debate about what is needed for a modern democracy, which kind of infrastructure. And more than 70% of the Swiss said, we want to keep public broadcast. I just give you a little bit of numbers about the extent of use of direct democracy in Switzerland. With the 2 referendum votes we had this weekend, we have had 617 nationwide popular votes referendums in our history. Yes, there were 2 votes this Sunday, and now we are up in number. We have had 617. The interesting thing is that most of these votes have happened in the last 30 years. So I have taken part in more than 250 nationwide votes only under my time. And voting on issues, on initiatives and referendum is really part of the Swiss political agenda. These are the voting days all the way until 2037. So you see that we are very optimistic about our democratic rights. But they haven't come as a Christmas present. We had to fight to introduce every right. Every generation had to fight. 1848, when Switzerland was established, there was nothing like direct democracy. But Switzerland was established by referendum. So one can say Switzerland didn't invent the referendum invented Switzerland. It took quite a long time until we introduced the popular law referendum, which gives 50,000 people today the right to put every decision of parliament to a referendum within 100 days. And in 1891, after another struggle, the Citizen Initiative for Constitutional Amendments was introduced. It gives 100,000 citizens within 18 months the right to put forward their own proposal. And this is exactly the right Enno Schmidt and his friends used to put forward a national referendum about unconditional basic income. And much later again, after the First World War, the referendum on international treaties was introduced, which, for instance, makes that big treaties need to be put to a vote of all the people in Switzerland. But Swiss direct democracy is never finished. We have changed it, we have modernized it. For instance, in 2003, the possibility to vote by internet was introduced. And we are all the time having a discussion, how can we inform and educate our citizens in the best way? So we have, for instance, a user guide which the government produces for every vote. Direct democracy in the world, as I have said, is very new for many countries, like in Taiwan, where they have a good law, or old, like in Switzerland, but in most countries in the world there has been some form of direct democracy. This map shows you in which countries the people have had the possibility in the last 30 years to participate in a national referendum. You see, almost all the world have had this opportunity, but when it comes to using citizen initiative and referendum, it's much more limited. The problem is that in most countries, direct democracy is confused with top-down plebiscite from the government. But the plebiscite is not really direct democracy. It's only when the people have a right to propose their own laws, if the people have the right to question the decisions of parliament, that you get the power sharing of direct democracy. So let's talk a little bit how we can cooperate better to make direct democracy possible also in Japan. Many people today say democracy is on the way back. Many people say democracy is by many leaders suppressed. But in fact, democracy has been extended. Democracy is more living today than ever before in history. You can see on this table that in the last 30 years, the numbers of democracies in the world have doubled. No basic democracy as a system. Elections, everything, not direct democracy, but democracy in general. And when you ask the people around the world, this is a big study, a world survey, shows that the majority of the world population wants to have both representative democracy and direct democracy. And it's very important to understand that representative democracy and direct democracy are not opponents, they are complementary. So the opportunities worldwide today is we are not discussing if we want to have democracy, but how it should look like. And the most dynamic possibilities are not on the national level, but on the local level. And with more direct democracy, we can make representative democracy truly representative. But for this, we need to invest into the democratic infrastructure so that every citizen gets support. So for Okinawa and Japan, I see the following possibilities. That we have more talks, we have more education about these possibilities of direct democracy. And that we understand politics and democracy less as a confrontation between things we don't like, but the conversations about things we like together. And you have, as many other countries, the challenge of changing the constitution, and this will enable everybody to have a vote and a part in the discussion. You will probably have a constitutional change discussion in the future, and this will have the consequences everybody has a vote on it. And it's very important that we look into the possibilities to make more young people engaged in politics, and that the local level becomes the main place for practicing democracy. So I want to conclude with, again, the invitation to you to not forget us when you work for more democracy, because we can support you, and I want to give you a final message. The experience I have with democracy in my country is that I'm participating a lot, I'm losing most votes, mainly the majorities are not of my opinion, but I'm still happy. For me, a good democracy, a good society is a society of happy losers. Thank you very much.